My people, it's about that time.
Like a boss.
Live from the USA, helping you get paid every day. This is the boss of Bitcoin, the Cristo of crypto. It's your boy BK. And if you don't like me, you must not like money. Thank you for joining me, everybody. It's been a while, but I wanted to jump on and literally seize the moment, as they say. Today's episode is called The Power of Numbers. This is something that I've been working on for quite some time now, and I'm excited to present it to you. So sit back and stay tuned, and always remember, if this is your first time tuning in, congratulations, baby. You are now rocking with the best. My name is BK, also known as the Crypto Trader, and I'm the boss of these charts, as you will soon find out. Every day I grace this microphone with my voice is another day you get to profit as a result, and today is no exception. So if you haven't done it already, make sure you like this video and subscribe. I used to have this little animation that would come on right now, but apparently I don't know where that's at, and it's not linking to the video. So this is my first video in a while. I'm just working all the kinks out, so we gonna figure that out for the next one. But come and join me on my journey. My mission is to help as many people learn about blockchain technology and change their life, empower their lives, and make a positive impact on humanity. Thank you for joining me on my journey. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I think when my mind just jumped to the sound of music, and they said, let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. So when we talk about the power of numbers, we think about the simplest truth possible, right? All numbers are a combination of one of these three symbols, right? In our mind, we automatically associate square, triangle, circle, right? But on the other side, I think on the cosmic side, when you're talking about mathematical representation, what it aligns to, it's really 4, 3, and 0. And 0 can also be inferred as 1, can also be inferred as 2. We'll get to that in a second. But essentially, right now, we have a very, very rare moment in our lifetime to where the dates, the numbers align to our existence and timeline, basically form a mirror. 12, 12, 24. By the time you hear these words, it'll be 12:13, and that's okay because you're actually listening in the future. I'm existing in the past, and this is how the universe works. When we look up in that sky, we're actually seeing an event from the past. I forget how long it takes, for the light from a star to reach the earth, but it's quite some time. It might be 3 months, might be 3 years, but just know that although this moment has passed, in your perspective, it did indeed happen, and hopefully we can draw some significance from this event. Let's jump right into it. This is the square, the triangle, and the circle. We'll start at the circle, right? Because the circle is essentially, an entity in itself. What's most interesting, I think, that I learned about this whole dissertation, I began to ideate this theology when I read this book called The Universe in 0 Words. And essentially it talks about the shapes and the psychology of mathematics, the governing laws of our universe. But it starts with 0. And it was funny because it says 0 doesn't actually exist. You know what I'm saying? Insofar as the human mind can rationalize, like, nothing has happened 0 times. You know what I'm saying? And if it did, we're not even cognizant of it. 0 is also representative of completion, right? So when you get to 100%, by definition, you done did it all, right? It's a full conscious, self-containing entity. So when you think of, everything that could have ever happened, it will fit inside of 0, believe it or not. And so also when you get to that, you can imagine that 0, if it has that one little point in the middle that the radius radiates around, right? That's circumpunct. I haven't used that word in quite some time, but it's very important. I just thought of this like 2 days ago. That's crazy that it just jumped in my head. But the circumpunct is essentially consciousness existing and radiating around itself. It forms zero. As I said, nothing actually happens 0 times. So even for zero, the concept of zero to exist, it really means completion, and it involves a central entity, right? This is, I think, the point in the circle, right? It's more complex and interesting. That's why I said it's a whole psychology in itself, right? Pythagoras said the point and circle represented eternity, whose center is everywhere and the circumference is nowhere. So essentially it's an idea. It's not even a real thing, right? But let's jump back into it. So you have one existing inside of the zero. You see that? And so that's where one comes from, because to be honest, nothing happens one time either. So these two numbers that we built our whole reality on and our whole numerical system, 0 and 1, really, you can't have one without the other, but nothing really exists isolated in either one. But together they begin to form a story, and now you have the existence of one within everything. And I think that's the more important part of the story, is that's kind of how we are as humans, how our perspective is. We are one within the circle, right? And that circle changes over time, over history, over lifetimes, but it still remains the same formula. It's one within it all, right? And so that's where you get 0 and you get 1. But then the circle divides upon itself, and you begin to have duality. And this is where the number 2 comes in. It's most commonly depicted as the yin and the yang, right? Light and darkness. This is where you start to have polarity, the sun and the moon. You know, things moves in cycles together. And this is actually going to the 7 Hermetic Principles, which are very, very, very pivotal in understanding so that you can better your wherewithal in this world. And this is one of them that talked about the principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites and identical, but nature and degree. Extreme meet. All truths are but half truth. All paradoxes may be reconciled. As above, so below. Right? You have one existing in one side. You have one existing in the other side. And now you have 2. Right? So we went from 0 to 1 to 2, right? And this is more or less the psychology of how we got there. But then something amazing happens, and that's when we get the 3, right? And the 3 really comes, if you're going to form 3, it almost happens when you're on this circle and you polarize it. So you have, let's say we have the top and the bottom of that circle. So we've recognized those 2 points as our points of existence on that circle. 1, 2, and 3 comes when we extend our node of consciousness, the center point, high. So now we introduce depth to the original alignment, and you almost have a circle with a cone sticking through, and that point at the top becomes the top of that pyramid. Or you could divide the circle, 1, 2, 3, and get it just from moving the circle along the axis of its own intersections. So 3 is the pyramid, right? But it really just comes when you 1, 2, and then like even the area of a pyramid, 1/2 base times height. Like you introduce depth, whereas the circle is just one plane. It's like everything exists on this one plane, but when you get 3, now you have height, now you have depth, now you have slope, right? And you have time and space, right? To where this first one was just space, now this is time and space. And then you get the 4, which essentially is the base of the pyramid. So you introduce the spinning around, you introduce the z-axis, which is immaculate because before you didn't have it. And so now we have a scenario where not only do we have 0, but we also have 1, we also have 2, we also have 3, and now we have 4. And since we have all of those together, we can start to put together a numerical sequence based on the alignment and agreement of those different ideas. And it just so happens that 12 is very, very prevalent early on in that cycle. Like these are all the numbers that can exist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Boom, boom, right? But 12 is almost a repeater of this sequence. You see that right there? It's the first number that pops up. You know, I know 6 is right there, but it's the first number that pops up that has both the 4 and the 3 inside of it. And technically it has the 2 and the 1 and the 0 inside of it too. But the 4 and the 3, it's like the union of those two in perfect symmetry is 12 from a mathematical standpoint. It's 4 sets of 3 or 3 sets of 4. So it's like a perfect union of all 3 shapes. It's the first perfect number. I think that's a very easy way to remember it, right? And it's very prolific in nature, in design. Like you get 12 steps. You know what I'm saying? Like 12 is just a very easy number to divide itself into and to build from. It's a good building number. And that's why when you have the perfect squares, this number down here at the bottom is very, very, very important. That's 12 times 12, 12 sets of 12. So you have all these perfect unions coming together, multiplying upon themselves in perfect order. And this is the numerical representation. You have 1, 4, 4. That is a very, very, very powerful sequence. It also aligns to the heart chakra and 144 hertz. And that's why I'm doing this videos, because 12, 12, 24. Basically, you have a numerical sequence happening today that's only going to happen once in our lives. The last time it happened was 3 years ago on 11/11/22. But this is the last time we get to see it. So it's a very prolific time. As I said, 12, 144 hertz aligns to this heart chakra line right here. A lot of people don't realize, they know that we have 7 chakras, but it's actually a base 12 chakra system that's recognized as well, whereas the first 7 essentially talk to the different levels of existence within you. And then the next 5 talk about the existence outside of you, right? So you have the soul star, the spirit star, universal chakra, galactic chakra, divine gateway chakra. I didn't know. I remember somebody was telling me about this like years and years and years ago, but you know, it just presented itself right now. So again, base 12 chakra system, 144 hertz aligns to your heart chakra, which is kind of like a baseline for existence. You know, it compares it to a C on the musical note. And what's really important about this chart right here, I can't do it justice. Somebody that knows this information a lot more than me, basically dedicated their life, and one of their great works is to educate people and inform people. His name is Dr. Robert Edward Grant. I actually follow his podcast, and within 2 days ago, I think they were talking about this very topic. So I'm gonna jump over and let him explain how you know, this mathematics and the power of numbers really manifests itself in history and in some of the most prolific structures in our world. So let's jump into that.
And that week I was flying to Austria. I was going to Salzburg, Austria, like a music capital, the birthplace of Mozart. And I was watching a movie on the airplane. I noticed that the background music was really having an impact on my emotional state. Like it was a love scene. And before the love scene, the music and everything was like, it was very light and beautiful. And this, you know, like you knew that there was going to be a love, you know, a romance happening. And then after the summer, they broke up, right? And it went into very dark. And the music in the background before they broke up was also, it was filled with like minor sixth, the minor sixth of music. And the first scene was the major third. And so I thought, well, wait, what are these musical intervals except mathematical ratios? And so then I realized that all the mathematical ratios are actually giving us the input, and how we perceive that, right, can be viewed in the form of a pyramid even, right? So the height versus the base proportion. So if it's 5/4, like Menkari pyramid, that's telling you romantic love because it's the major third. It's da da. That's the proportion. And then if you do the full bass over the height, it's 6/4, which reduces to 3/2. Oh, sorry, it becomes 8/5 rather, and that becomes the minor sixth, which instead of da da, it's da 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 da. When I listen to that, it makes you feel like, oh, it's a breakup coming.
Mm-hmm.
So in the experience, I realized then that in the experience of romantic love is already the seed of heartbreak. And the only difference between the two is time, because it's C to E and then E to C. That's just time relationship, one direction versus the other direction. So you have completely the opposite emotional state. So then I found that there was research on this, Matthias. There's research. And all of the pyramids are exactly the major third and minor sixth is Menkaure. The perfect fourth and perfect fifth is Khafre. And the Great Pyramid is the unison, diminished fifth, and the octave. It's making this music. Da, 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 da.
So there you go. Essentially, you have a system to where these structures are literally resonating with energy due to the mathematical structure they were built with, the mathematical unison that they were created with. This is a good chart. It kind of shows just the power in these different angles. You know, just by repeating the same pattern over and over and over, you start to get this Fibonacci spiral, and each one has its own slope, its own delta, its own theta, you know, and you literally can build shape that has sound. And that's how these pyramids work. They're literally great generators, you know, batteries, especially when they were built over the water. Like, you will never find a pyramid that doesn't have a direct water source tied to it, you know, because water is the source of all energy, right? And these things were literally batteries that kind of empowered, or were built to empower, humanity. And so Dr. Robert Edward Grant has dedicated a significant part of his life to, you know, refining his insight with regards to this stuff. All I wanted to do in today's video was kind of give you like a general understanding that this is a very, very, very important time. You know, as long as I can remember me doing videos, the objective has been accumulate as much Bitcoin as fast as possible. And that's so you can buy back your freedom, empower your family and those that come after you, you know, and unplug from the matrix, right? But it's crazy that too many people nowadays is distracted, and these changes are happening and these laws are written, and you literally have structures that are resonating with these truths, but not too many people know about it because they too busy keeping up with the Kardashians or, you know, watching Thursday Night Football. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy. But therein lies the opportunity. I think the truth of this video is that this is a very important time, 12/12/24. When we talk about portals and energy chambers and, you know, the idea of manifestation, I think this is an opportunity to indeed write a path that you wish to see fulfilled in the future. So I haven't, you know, done this in quite some time. There I go, BK, right? Boom, 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 right? But one of the things I wanted to do is project my intention to the world and to those aligned to this frequency, right? So my manifestation for 12/12/24, here we go. I will grow this community to include millions of people all around the world. I will become a household name in the crypto industry. I used to be one, but we go bring it back. I will have the best crypto trading, educational platform and financial literacy platform in the world. I will travel the world and help those that are willing to be helped. I will build an ecosystem that empowers society and realizes value for hundreds of years. I will attract individuals aligned to my frequency that are suited for this reality so that we can build a sustainable future, and together we will change the world. That is my mission. And it has been spoken. My purpose is to not only educate, but also to enlighten as many people as I can with the simple truths that we've covered on this channel. I believe one of the opportunities that we have is to literally bridge, the new world with the old. When I talk about the 7 Hermetic Principles, this is actually coming from an entity that existed thousands of years ago. Don't believe me? Look it up. Just type in 7 Hermetic Principles and do a little bit of research on how long this knowledge has existed, and now we're making it relevant for a new entity that's coming into existence. Right? It's literally a paradigm shift from the old to the new, from the physical to the digital, from the fiat to the blockchain, from the fear to the love, right? And that's what we're here to do. One day at a time, one trade at a time, we will change the world. That is my name. That is my story. And this is my journey. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I hope you did find something valuable with this video. My apologies if I misconstrued any of the information. It's kind of hard doing this stuff on the fly and, trying to make it educational and entertaining at the same time. But hopefully, we got the ball rolling in the right direction. So with that being said, it's that time of the day. Signing out. Boss. Boy BK, no matter where you stay, Brazil to Bay, California, all the way back out through Germany. Good night, good morning, and good day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time. Hit that thumbs up button for a player and show me some love in the comments. If you got a chart you want to see, just drop it in the comments. I'm going to get it to the next video. Do that for me if you appreciate mine. Till we meet again, stay cryptic, y'all. Peace.
Like a boss.
Huh.